Are you ready to take a trip down memory lane and relive the glory days of the 3D console? Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're celebrating 11 classic games that are turning 10 in 2023, and they're still as amazing as ever. From RPGs to platformers, these are the titles that you won't be able to put down. Get ready to fall in love all over again as we replay the best of the 3D. Are you with us? Resident Evil. Revelations comes in at number 11 on our list. The franchise made a strong comeback with the release of Resident Evil. Revelations. It not only pulled Jill back into the public eye, but also provided for a more eerie experience overall. There was still more gun action than the original games, but unlike Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, it wasn't a celebration of explosions. It is remarkable that the 3D player was able to play this game without any problems. In addition to that, the 3D was quite solid for it. It was profitable to the point that a sequel was commissioned, as well as future ports to gaming consoles. Taking the 10th spot is the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2 video game. The Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2 video game is the second spin-off installment in this franchise's particular subseries of spin-off games. It was not a turn-based role-playing game like the previous games, rather it was a strategic role-playing game. Both the previous one and this one were really challenging, but the first one was more so. Even if there was a little more leeway, players were not allowed to rush through the maps. To overcome the challenges presented by this game required a clear head. Kid Icarus. Uprising comes in at number 9 on our list. One of the games that has caused the greatest controversy in Nintendo's long history is Kid Icarus. Uprising. The gameplay itself is a tremendous amount of fun. Both the on-rails shooting and the land-based action fighting make for an engaging and entertaining gaming experience. The visuals on the system are still really spectacular, and the 3D effects are absolutely out of this world. The disadvantage was that the way the controls were organized on the 3D made it almost difficult to enjoy a game in comfort. It's quite disappointing that a port of this game has not yet been developed for Switch. Right, this is when you should play Nintendo. Fire Emblem Awakening comes in at number 8 on our list. When it was first released in North America in 2013 and in Japan in 2012, Fire Emblem Awakening did something completely fresh and innovative for the Fire Emblem series. A simpler and more user-friendly approach to the difficulty level was by far the most important factor. There was a setting that could be enabled that disabled permadeath, which lowered the importance of the objectives somewhat. This may have been the finest choice that could have been made for the franchise, since it evolved from a specialized RPG series into a phenomenon that is recognized all over the world. Fire Emblem Awakening is mostly credited with the series' rise to prominence as one of Nintendo's most successful ongoing properties. Mario and Luigi. Dream Team comes in at number 7 on our list. The video game Mario and Luigi. Dream Team was produced by Nintendo as part of the company's Year of Luigi effort in order to help commemorate Mario's brother, who is often made fun of. The RPG offshoot series continued with yet another addition with this game. The brothers Mario and Luigi found themselves on an island where, if they slept on the appropriate pillow, their wildest desires may become a reality. In order to defeat an implacable evil power, Mario would go into Luigi's nightmares, where he would get assistance from Luigi's shadow persona. This series made its debut in 3D with this game, which many consider to be among the series' most impressive entries overall. Luigi's Mansion. Dark Moon comes in at number 6 on our list. During the Year of Luigi, a number of titles were released to honor the green plumber Luigi, who is sometimes underestimated. One of these titles was Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon. Since the introduction of the very first game on the GameCube, more than a decade has passed. It was intended for the game to feature support for 3D, but the peripheral that was supposed to be created for the GameCube was never completed. With the release of this sequel, it is fantastic to see Nintendo actually realizing some of their 3D ideas. Aside from the 3D features, the most significant enhancement was that Luigi was given the opportunity to explore various houses, each of which was based on a different theme. The 5th spot belongs to the Project X Zone. Even though it has some major names associated with it, Project X Zone is still a relatively unknown tactical role-playing game, RPG, despite having been released in 2013. In this crazy idea, characters from Sega, Capcom, and Bandai Namco would work together in a gigantic crossover role-playing game to try to rescue the planet. These massive publishers were responsible for a number of successful titles, including Tekken, Mega Man, and Sakura Wars. It was first made available in Japan in 2012, and owing to its attraction to a certain subset of consumers, it is a marvel that it was ever made available in the West. The game amazingly spawned a sequel, which was also translated for the Western market, but after that, the 3D series was discontinued. At position number 4, we have Pokémon X and Pokémon E. The The first two major entries in the Pokemon series to be released on the Nintendo 3DS were Pokemon X and Pokemon E. Although it wasn't exactly a complete 3D experience, the game was less rigidly top-down than any of the primary titles that came before it. It made available a wide variety of new gameplay elements, such as Mega Evolutions and Pokemon the Fairy type. It was a significant advance in terms of gameplay mechanics at the time, but at its core, it was still a traditional entry. To become the absolute greatest Pokemon trainer, you need to run away from home at an early age, gather Pokemon, and engage in fights with other Pokemon trainers. Shin Megami Tensei 4 comes in at number 3 on our list. Similar to Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, Shin Megami Tensei 4 had been in development for a considerable amount of time. It took 9 years between the release of Shin Megami Tensei 3 till the release of this game, which was in 2004 when it was released in the West. This book was known for being one of the most challenging entries in the series. On the other hand, similar to Fire Emblem Awakening, this game included simplified play choices. It was still not a stroll in the park since it needed grinding, but it was more approachable than any of the entries that came before it. Since then, it has gotten much simpler to suggest the series, particularly Persona, to those who have never played an RPG before. SteamWorld Dig comes in at number 2 on our list. The idea behind SteamWorld Dig was conveyed immediately upon reading the title of the game. The players took control of a robot that was tasked with exploring the depths of a small village in order to discover its secrets. Collect the necessary items, make your way back to the surface to improve your character, and then descend into the mines once again to look for more. It had a loop that was tedious yet compulsive to play, and it had some small Metroidvania features included into it. The sequel, which came out some years later, would add more depth to these gameplay mechanisms. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds comes in at number 1 on our list. When it comes to eagerly anticipated sequels, The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds trumps both Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, and Shin Megami Tensei 3. The release of A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System occurred in 1992 in North America. This means that there was a gap of nearly 20 years between the two games. The time spent waiting was not wasted since this game served as a sequel in 3D as well as a recreation of the game that started it all. It was a lot of fun to revisit Hyrule in this SNES version, which had a variety of fresh additions including characters, environments, and gameplay elements. The 3D effects were easily the most interesting feature of all, particularly when combined with the ability to cling to walls in 2D. As we celebrate the 10th anniversary of these 3D games, we're reminded of just how much they've contributed to the gaming world. Whether you're a seasoned veteran or new to these titles, they're definitely worth a playthrough. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join our community of retro gaming fans. We have tons of content featuring the best games from past consoles, so you won't want to miss out. Thanks for watching.